Hey.
Hey.
Hi. Okay, so the first question was, how do you navigate in your relationship while being a musician slash singer? That was the first question.
Okay. So y'all want me to answer?
if you if
Yeah, if you
if
can answer.
if you
I
can
mean,
answer,
we talked about a lot of things. We talked about insecurity.
Yeah.
We talked about understanding the assignment.
Yes.
We talked about what else? Communication. Tony
Yeah.
mentioned communication. What else did we talk about? We already talked about that.
Okay. So first off, with that question, it starts off basically when you got into the relationship. We should have already had this conversation.
yeah.
It should have already been an understanding of the kingdom assignment comes first. So
Mhm.
you work with each other on that.
But I like that because I was doing this when you met me,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
right? I was doing this when you met me. So, you know, just
Mhm.
like they would have been doing something when you met them. So whatever it is you were doing,
Mhm.
like I'm not going to stop you from doing that thing.
Right.
But this
Right.
is what I do.
It's a hard pill to swallow sometimes because you want them to yourselves, but if you understand the work of the Lord, you have to humble yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be able to trust that person too. But if you can't trust that person, you should have known that too. Like you got discernment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
So
mean, yeah, I would piggyback on that. That speaks to not being unequally yoked, right?
yeah.
And that yes, they come to church, but do they serve? Do they
Right.
Yes.
understand? Like, a minister
That's
ain't
it.
gotta marry a minister, but are you do you understand what is going on?
I'm
And
still
Hmm.
hungry.
that's important because what we will do oftentimes early in the relationship is we will speed past the red flags.
That's
We will
good.
we will spend money on these elaborate weddings,
I want
Hmm.
them. I
and
already ate some
along the way
bread, so I want
was
some more.
all we did was collect things that are going
Mhm.
to lead to harder conversations down the road. Like, how do you really fit? Can you deal with this? Can you?
Yeah.
And if they can't, then we also have to understand
What?
that there is a
Son of a-
responsibility
That's not
on
how I said
us.
it.
There's a
Service.
responsibility.
I said it
There's a
was good.
there's a responsibility on us to
Steven.
really like create that intentional balance. And so what does that really mean? That if I'm going to ignore the red flags and understand where they're at, then I can't drag them.
Right. Right.
And what does that mean? That means that some of my ministerial yeses may have to turn into ministerial no's. Now this is for the married.
I
This
love
is
that.
because ministry in and of itself will become a mistress to anyone that touches ministry. It doesn't, you ain't got to be a musician. If you just love serving, and it's a hard conversation for that partner
Preach. Preach.
to for you to dedicate all of yourself. So the Bible says that when you get married, you forsake all others. So what happens is so many of us will create man, what's the best way to say this? We will create an affair with the
Ooh.
church, Christ's wife, and we will abandon ours and expect for her to understand,
Okay.
even if she is a part of ministry. And that's not when you get married, your single yeses have to now turn into some married no's, and
Yeah.
that's for both parties, right? So maybe the all of the touring that I was doing, maybe some of that's gonna have to balance out.
Mm, that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord didn't call you to sacrifice your marriage. How he
Mhm.
gonna tell you to marry that person and then tell you to put the marriage on the altar at the same time?
Mhm.
Right? So it's really being able to say, like, and pride will sneak in. Let's talk. Because I was doing this when you found me. But when you found me, I was single and I belonged to myself. But now that I'm married, we belong to each other. So what are we going to agree? How can two walk together lest they agree? What are we going to commit to from a musician and that's your whole career. That's everything that you're doing with your life. How can two walk together lest we agree? It can no longer be this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, and we'll try to meet in the middle. No, what are we doing as a unit? What are we accomplishing as a unit? And when there's clarity on that keeps a lot of the foolishness out.
Well,
Okay, DJ, from a person who is engaged, you're not married yet. What do you think about this? Did you choose? Do you feel like, well, I don't want to get you in trouble. Do you feel like you chose the right person that understands what you do as far as your music and traveling and all of that?
Well, I totally agree with everything that's been said. Honestly, from my point of view, I feel like it's everything y'all said, and from my perspective, I think it's more of a you have to come. Like I said, it's more of a iffy situation for me because my fiance was she was brought up in church, so it
Okay,
was
so she
more of
does.
she knows the ropes of ministry, but it's more she's bagging away from it. Not
Mhm,
more like bagging away from it, but it's more of she knew what the ropes of, and it's just like she was forced into it. But
mhm,
it's like when you're forced into it, you kind of pull away from it. So
mhm,
it's like all you know when you growing up was church, 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 church. So now
mhm,
with me, it's like I don't force her to go because I know how it was for her. So with me, I understand her perspective of it, and I understand my perspective. I do it
okay,
because I love it. I love God. I love the ministry. So I can't force somebody that don't want to do something.
okay,
She knows her prayer life. I know my prayer life. So we have that understanding. When she's ready to come to church, she comes to church. I don't force her. So
and I think that's very powerful because I think that despite what society thinks about marriage or relationships, you and that person have to develop your
yeah,
own idea of what it is. Develop um your own authentic relationship. Because if
okay,
you depend on society's um thought of what a marriage or relationship is, like
yeah. So you
yeah, but
saying, so you saying you can't take other people's bluept. You gotta create your own blueprint
you have
as
to create
far
your
as
own because you're two different people. You're two different people, and you want
okay,
to be authentic to what you do.
okay. Jabari, what you think about it? We talking about your relationships as far as you being a musician. How does that shape your relationship with your wife? Understanding that you have to go, understanding that you have to travel. And Brandon just got on. He a good example of a young person that's traveling and stuff. Young single person that's traveling. So I want his perspective too. I can't hear you, Jabari. You muted.
Somebody got that TV on loud in the back, boy.
Who is that?
That bad boy blaring.
Just mute yourself if you're not talking. Jabari, you muted. I can't.
Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. Okay. For me, when I was younger, coming into a ministry where I was, I didn't quite understand how to separate marriage and ministry. You know, your marriage is supposed to become before your ministry, and in the process of me playing, um, I put the ministry before my marriage, so I almost lost my marriage.
Mhm,
Almost lost my family. Because I was where I would make plans for my wife, but then I would get a call to do this and do that. I would drop whatever with my family and just make sure I was there for the ministry. So for me, um, it took a lot of it took for me to almost lose my marriage for me to really realize the correct order of of the Bible when it comes to um, first God, then your family, then the church. I had it backwards. So for me, now that I know, man, no, nobody comes before my family other than God.
But that's
mhm,
why also what I was talking about. That's why this conversation is so important. You have to surround yourself with people
Hmm.
so that you can have these. You know what I'm saying, Tony? You know what I'm saying, boss? You got
mhm,
to have to have these kind of conversations because you know sometimes what can happen is you can feel like you're in a space all alone, but then come to find out that there are people who are experiencing the same stuff you're experiencing, but
Mhm.
nobody's talking. Nobody's told you or nobody said anything.
Mhm.
So, Jabari, thank you for sharing that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, I'm an open book. Sometimes too
Mhm.
raw, but I mean, sometimes like you said, people do need to hear it because, you know,
Mhm.
you when you go through stuff, you don't realize that you have so much in common with other people.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, as far as my guys who are here that are married, what would your advice be to a younger person or a single person as far as that's already in the ministry or a musician? What would your advice be to them?
Open communication for one, and then make sure you spend that you allot that time to that person. You can't always be about ministry. Your ministry starts in your home.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
I'm learning that now. Like,
And that's good because we're not taught that,
45.
right? We're not taught that.
Nope.
That's
What
great.
people teach us is, oh, you're supposed to be at the church.
And that's what we did. I mean, from what 15, from 15 to probably about maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, all we knew was church. We,
Yeah.
we go to church and then we have our fun. But I mean, we ripped and ran back and forth, singing here, singing there, playing there. And like I said, it takes us to get the age that we are now, a little bit more wiser, been around other people, and they breaking it down to us. Nah, you have to spend that quality time with your family. So I'm learning.
Another kind of question that kind of popped up to my mind. Do you think the way relationships between men and women are now, do you think it's harder to get into a relationship um with a person that would understand you? Because it's this stuff going on, and as far as relationships between men and women, and women want certain things and men want certain things.
I'm glad I had a wife I got now, because I I know I could be a handful, and for one, my mouth is reckless at times. I'm just being very raw and honest, but she gets me. Giving my time to somebody else and taking the time to get. I ain't for that now. I'm too old for that.
I can't hear you, Tev. You muted.
I was
You were
agreeing
saying
with
something.
Jabari. Agreeing with Jabari.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely harder now. The generation that's out there isn't on both sides. There isn't a lot of understanding being transferred across the table in anything. Like if you really just look at society, take relationships aside. Two people don't feel like they can disagree on anything and still sit at the table with each other. So yeah, with there being a lack of understanding, with the current generation, yeah, it's definitely it's super challenging to really find someone that's going to see you, accept you, and not try to force something, not try to lie, not try to fix you. All of these things that tend to happen in a relationship. Well, I'm gonna date them anyway, but I can fix that out of them. They go into church right now a whole lot, but I'll take nah. Like I think it's just we got a different breed out here right now on both sides of the table on that.
Mhm.
But let me ask you a question. Are
Lulu
they
about to say something. You muted, Lulu. Unmute yourself.
I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Okay. What you saying, Tev?
oh, I was saying to boss, I was gonna push back on his thought. Are they different or are they unlearned because nobody's told them?
I mean, yeah, all of that because all of the behaviors are learned, right? Like
Hmm.
our grandparents taught us what to do, and the reason we thought it would work is because we saw, husband and wives that just had a different commitment level to ministry. So we saw that grandma was going to go through what grandma was going to go through because grandpa had to preach, had to pastor, and that's what serving the Lord was at the center of what they did. There was nothing else. That was the core of our community. And that did not translate to the generation of people that we date. right? Like there is more, they want more, like there is a different thing. And now you look at the generation that's coming after us. If it hasn't been taught, then your point is spot on. They're going to replicate the behaviors that they
Yeah.
got from the generation before them. We serve
Mhm.
the way that we do because of the generation that modeled it for us. But we didn't go home with them and see the marriages all the time. We didn't see the hard conversations all the time. We just saw the beautiful worship in church. We saw church happening. We saw a service being executed, and a lot of us didn't get exposed to some of the more dicey opportunities and the real life behind all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, Tony.
Lulu, what was the other questions?
Okay, so our second question was would it be beneficial to choose a partner that is in the same career as you, like whether it being a singer or musician? But I feel like a lot of the things that we talked about goes into, I feel like it's all like a heart posture thing.
Mhm.
You have to be in the same heart posture. You don't have to always have the same process and thinking, but also knowing where you guys stand and what your intention is behind this relationship,
Mhm.
whether it be platonic or an intimate relationship. So I feel like all of that has been answered from this question, but some can piggyback on it, your thoughts and opinions on whether it could be beneficial on whether or not to
Look
date
like
someone.
Jabari want to say something.
I'm glad my wife ain't a musician because from a singer first, then musician, we could be riding in the car and she could be just getting happy into a song, and I'm looking at her like, that note, you got, and if she's sung in the choir, and I just know me, I will probably like be like, baby, you singing it wrong, and then that going back to coming home, and then, yo, why did you call me out in front of? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, that kind of happened to what me and Janae, of course I directed the choir, and she would get in it, and I'm just being myself,
Yeah.
I, clap your darn hands. That darn thing down and clap your darn hands. You know what I'm saying? So it happens, right? But I don't think it's necessary for a music. I don't think a musician has to date a musician for them to have a great relationship.
no,
I,
Yeah.
I mean, my wife, she's not a musician. She's an educator. She's a researcher. She's a all that stuff. She's an associate dean. So we don't share the same. Uh, well, our careers are almost the
Yeah.
same
yeah,
Yeah.
education, yeah,
because I'm still in education. We're still in education, but
Yeah.
even in that, we're at different levels of education, right? She's at higher education. I'm in K-12 public school setting, you know.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the music part of it, she's not musical. She's not musical, and so. I can remember times where she was in the choir, and
finger
I
flat.
said, and y'all know me, y'all know, like, sing it right or sit down, right? And clap when I tell you to clap. Like, what I'm saying? That's the director, the choir master of me. But
Mhm.
like, yeah, so like I don't think you have to be in a relationship with the same kind of person. And actually, I think it would get boring if you ask me.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
just, it's
Yeah.
just my thought. I think it would get boring because y'all doing the same thing. There's nothing fresh, nothing new.
and sometimes music is your outlet. I know for me, so I won't want to go to
Yeah.
practice, see my wife in practice, and come back home, see her at home, then go to work and then come back home. No, nope.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, like, Lulu, Jaleesa, um, do y'all feel like y'all have to? And uh,
No,
I do
no,
certainly not.
no.
okay.
And
What
that's
about you,
just,
Rashida? No, she shook her head.
She said no.
Rashida, no.
and
You,
I will say this, okay? Based off what I've seen, it's not like I would be opposed to it,
right.
but like I said, it's all about a heart posture thing. If I know I'm doing this is ministry, I'm going in for ministry to glorify God for the edification of God, and the other person is going for self. gratification and self glorification, that's not where my heart is, and I wouldn't want to be with someone that's presenting themselves as such. And a lot of other people are not comfortable with being transparent from the jump, and that's where I feel like a lot of people will, they will get in a relationship and not know who that person is because you're not transparent from the beginning. So
Mm.
when you go into something not knowing who this person is and what their intentions are, it just kind of, it's a rocky start. So that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, definitely not opposed to it, but being very intentional about who it is I have in that type of space.
Okay. What do you think about that, Jaleesa?
I totally agree. And to piggyback off of Tevis, and Jabbar, it's music is my getaway. So to do the same thing over, or like we have the same interest or the same thing in common, it get boring. And
Mhm.
so me personally, like, let me go off and let me have this to myself for a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so yeah, it's totally different.
And
Okay.
then, because what could potentially happen is jealousy. In my opinion, jealousy could
Yes,
creep up, right?
it
Like,
does.
Mhm.
who's the better singer? Who's the better
Yeah.
insecurity and all that stuff could
Mm-hmm.
sneak up and all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so, but, and then the other thing I was thinking about, and Tony, you may can talk about this too. Like, if you are like you have to have things to do. You and your wife or the person you're in a relationship with, they gotta have their own life. You gotta have your own thing
Yeah.
going on. Because if you don't have your own thing going on, then what happens is you expect me to fill your void.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
No, that makes 100% sense. But that's why there are things like I like to call them non-negotiables when you're dating, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
things that really make you you, and those should not be sacrificed in the dating process on the way to the altar to get married, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that if you are intentional about your scheduling, if you're intentional about your rhythm, I've seen both sides of losing track of those, right? And I've seen like the potential damage that it can do when you abandon. Yeah, the two shall become one, but everything should not be abandoned. If it is something that helps you show up in life the way that you need to, then that's one of the non-negotiable things that has to stay sacred. So if I was doing this when you met me and it made you fall in love with me, why are you asking for me to sacrifice it?
That makes sense. And I like what you said. The two should become one. But one of the things um, G used to say is, which one? Like, which one do you become? So you got to do you, and you got to do you, and together we come and we do, this thing together. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, like, I agree with that, Tony.
What was the last question? It was we got like
10 minutes.
well, we got 10 minutes left.
That's what it say.
Okay.
The last question was, how has your relationship impacted you and your career in said industry? That's it. And that's for the married folk.
It be for the single folk too. Y'all know
Say
y'all
that
got.
say that one more time. Say that one more time. Say that one more time. Say the question one more time.
How has your relationships, that doesn't have to be like intimate, I would say any relationships, right?
Mhm.
Impacted you and your career in the music industry as a singer or as a musician.
Mhm.
But I would say my relationships, especially having friends like y'all and family
Oh
like
yeah.
y'all and all that stuff, that has greatly impacted me, and
Oh yeah.
it has made me better. It has made me better because in my mind, I have to show up
Mhm.
for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I have to be ready to be all that I can be. Um, um, you know, to my word left me. That's what I'm trying to find it. Come back. Um, to push y'all. You know what I'm saying? To push you and to push you into doing what you do. Because I really believe that's my purpose here on earth. Like to um, do whatever I can do to help people become
Mhm.
all that God has called them to be, right?
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I often pride myself on as a choir director is like pulling the best out of folk. You know what I'm
You
saying?
do.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like, and even musicians, you know, one time, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Darnell got mad at me. I was like,
Darnell.
Darnell, I was like, Darnell, well, he didn't get mad. He was like, Timmy, she's stressing me out. You remember that, Darnell?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember.
I was like, Darnell, I need you to play this. I need you to play this. He's like, Timmy, she's stressing me out, man.
You kept changing it on me. You kept changing on me. I'm like,
But you know, but I think that having family, having friends that you can lean on and depend on, like even now, like I call Lulu and Jaleesa because I know they're gonna hold that BGV down. Like I like there's no question about, you know what I'm saying? And so being around them makes me want to be a better singer, especially Lulu. Lulu makes me sick.
yeah.
She makes me sick. She has an incredible
I
voice.
don't be doing nothing.
And she has
The
an
lies, Lulu.
incredible.
The lies. The
There you
lies.
there you go. There you go, Denon. Denon.
Well, I think for me, my relationships have made me a better business guy when it comes to music. Been somewhere where you play for because you love to play. You never
Pennies.
you
You
never
play for pennies.
yeah, you never taught money. You never taught. You did it because you love what you do, and you come from a genuine heart. Um, and going through the hurt, it, it, it really has taught me how to, do business. I mean, because now, not saying it's all about the money, but I do business very well now. Um, Relationships with other, I mean, other than you guys, um, I'm usually around most of you guys anyway. But far as me reaching out, trying to get to know other musicians, I don't have that desire. I don't. I don't. I'm at a standstill where if I play, I play. If I don't, I don't. I'm I'm good. I feel like I've done it for so long. Um, like I said, the one thing I do want to do before I leave this world, I want to do an album. I want to do my own album. Because I felt like I put that on the back burner for so long. So
Let's go. Let's go, JD.
yeah, but
Can I sing tenor?
I don't know. I might do it just
Come on,
to
start
go off.
singing
Yeah.
I wanna sing tenor.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, I want Brandon to say something before we. Can you say something, Brandon? What's going on, man? I ain't heard nothing from you.
Well, I had jumped off my mom call. Um, yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about now. So,
We talking about relationships as far as you being a musician. How has that benefited, or how has that shaped your relationships as far as being a musician? We only got like two. Do y'all want to
what
come
kind of
your relationship, like relationships with your friends, significant others, and all of that?
The men and women you be
I know,
dating,
I know, we going to Japan,
Brandon,
so
superstar, yo.
Brandon, the men and women he be dating.
nah, nah, I've only dated two women my whole life. Uh, I don't know. I think the for me, I believe the worst experiences you have, the better songs you write. So you
yeah.
know, it helped me a lot in that way. Uh, you know, you
Oh
hear
yeah, I
I
get
hear
that.
yeah, I hear things that I wouldn't normally hear after dealing with a woman. You hear the best music that you ever heard in your life.
That's what I'm talking about, B. That's my Brandon
And
right there, now.
You stupid.
it's just unfortunate
Yeah,
what you
it
got
do.
to go
Yeah, it
through
do
to hear that.
motivate you. It motivates
Yeah,
you.
but
Yeah, I get it.
but
I
then
get that. I
like
get.
like platonic friendships with like other people. You know that has an impact too because you get connections. You know that's how I went to Japan. I would have never gone if it wasn't for uh, some of the me getting recommended by a friend. You know, to play with this singer. She got the opportunity and she asked me if I wanted to do it. I was like, yeah, that's how I did it.
Yeah.
I would have never thought I would go there. I ended up there. Was there for a month. Didn't want to come back.
You said you didn't want to come back?
No.
I had money on you not coming back, bro. I had money.
Trust me, if it was up to me, I'd still be there right now. But I'm trying to go back though.
Yeah, I definitely understand, man. Okay, we all
But
what time? How much time we got left? We
3 minutes.
3 minutes left. Okay, man. I appreciate you guys. I think I got enough so I can clip and I'll put it out on YouTube. I appreciate you guys coming on for me. Rashida came on tonight, DJ Brendan, and Tony came on for me tonight. So I appreciate you guys.